All right, y'all. First and foremost, give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and his son, the Hamashiach, who some call Yeshua, Yehoshua, Yahawashai. We mostly know as Jesus Christ. Cult tactics. I don't care what organization you in. And I remember this video Michael Todd did. And it was a sermon that he had go. It went viral. And the sermon was about some of his church members that had left. And he was like, man, they didn't even give me an excuse. You know, trying to show like, you know, these members, and these members might not have said nothing and tried to leave quietly. But he had to address it. He had to address it. And sometimes, you know, these things come out when Joker's feelings get hurt. You know, Joker's is a little hurt about Joker's leaving, and, you know, you try to be, and then Joker may be throwing shots. So sometimes, you know, sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes you do need to do lessons surrounding certain incidents in the body, or if they see certain people being put out, the body definitely needs to know and understand. But, you know, it got to be tactful, and you know, it don't have to come with the ad hominems and in the character assassination. That's what we dealing with today. Character assassination. And a lot of times it comes with that, where, you know, this individual wasn't, even when we use that verse, they left us because they were never with us. I forget what that verse is, but y'all put it in the comments. Y'all know the verse I'm talking about. Put it in the comments. They left from us because they were never of us. You know, we got to check our spirit to see how we using that. You know what I'm saying? Are we using that to take a shot to get back at jokers, or are we using this to edify? And I have even myself, and you know, when I was doing it, I was thinking about myself. I was like, yeah, I'll probably let the flesh get involved a little bit in a few situations. And I think it was some good classes there also. But when I look at this, and I looked at some of the stuff that this brother was talking about in this video, I was like, this is something I didn't have to be taught. This is something you don't have to be taught this. It's just the flesh. Like, this is written on the flesh. The flesh is already encoded in the flesh. You're going to do these things, especially if you're fleshly in leadership. You're not going to take, you know, you're not going to take the high road. Yeah, you're not gonna take the high road. You gonna shoot back. I seen this other pastor. What the pastor name is, man? Ty Tibbet. Ty Tibbet. That was one on 106, not 106, but what's that radio show? Man, what's that radio show? 95.5 with Charlemagne the God. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Breakfast Club. He's on the Breakfast Club, and he was talking about the church and how he didn't like the organization and you know, that part of the church. But you know, he kind of got tripped up and stuff and had to come back and try to explain what he was saying, because the church got mad. Like, wait a minute, man, we made you. But anyway, he was doing a message, and he was saying sometimes God watches what you don't do. You know, like when you getting persecuted, when you getting shots thrown at you, sometimes the right thing to do is not to do nothing, is not to respond, to take the persecution, to take people doing you unjustly. And that's in the text. You know what I'm saying? It's in there. Blessed Blessed are those that suffer persecution for my name's sake. Then how is it that you can suffer persecution? Those persons suffer persecution unjustly. Hold on, let me find it for you because I know I'm tearing it up right now. In this video we about to watch, it's about a brother who was inside of a large organization for a very long time, and he ended up leaving, trying to leave quietly from a situation, and some character assassination ends up coming. And so before he starts throwing shots back, Matthew 5, y'all. I should have known that. Matthew 5, we gonna start at, man, we gonna start at verse 10. Said, blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. They supposed to be persecuting you. When you teach in Christ, you teaching the gospel of Christ, they gonna persecute you. But he said, blessed are they that are persecuted for his name's sake. That ain't the exact one that I wanted. There's another one there. But for time purposes, I'm gonna go ahead and roll this clip, y'all. And again, just to give you some background, the brother was left a camp, tried to leave a camp quietly, was in some stuff. He got his hands dirty too. He was in some stuff, tried to leave the camp quietly. Shots were getting shot at him. He can't take it too much. He's like the video editor for this camp. But he ended up digging up some history on the leader and how the leader operated before the organization he has now, and you see some of the similar traits. And it's funny that you see some of these similar traits also with the current situation over there at Straightway. And I don't know, I don't know much on that. I don't want to, brother, you bear false witness, and you need to come talk to me about it, and that, but we'll see. We'll watch this clip. I just want to see if y'all see some similarities here. We just gonna let this thing roll. So y'all be blessed, man. Pray this thing was edifying. Shalom.
So let me go ahead. Bring it up. Yeah, let me just add on to that. And it wasn't so much sometimes all in one instance. It would be a slowly character assassination along the way. Trust me. Yeah, I understand because I know because it happened to me.
Can you give me examples of like what was done?
Okay, so me and the one you know as Nathaniel, I'll just use him as an instance, since you know him. We were very, very, so I thought, very tight. It wasn't a time when we would not speak 3-4 times a week. The man would come visit me I'm from Buffalo, New York, which is like 7 hours away from New York City. Come up, visit, we fellowship, so on and so forth. I started growing into understanding, so on and so forth. And long story short, I made the fatal mistake in correcting him about the way he was dealing with his wife. At the time, I thought I was being a better brother, but, I just corrected the man. Then all of a sudden, I started noticing, and these brothers will tell you because they witnessed it. It was like I could not walk down the street right, and I didn't know what was going on. I had no clue what was going on. These brothers understood because has a way of assassinating your character little by little. Like, it's a brother in the church. He's doing his own thing. Such and such and such. This is what he does. He'll give you enough of an explanation so you're sitting there in class knowing exactly who he's talking about without really mentioning the name.
They almost even obtained it. It's just the fact that that wickedness just got so exceeding great it could not last.
Wow. Now so that leads into my next question. What was the fear tactics used on people for either leaving or wanting to leave to prevent them from leaving?
Oh my God.
Hey, go in. I want to know as much detail as you could give me, please.
Well, the fear tactics is basically going back into the same cult mentality. If you are in a church and you pretty much already know that when you come into this faith, you're not keeping the world holidays, you're not keeping you're not uplifting the things of this world. And of course, you already know, there's many brothers and sisters that come into the faith in all truth and sincerity trying to follow Christ. So they've already broken the ties with all the wickedness that this world has, which means the only family that they have and know is in the doors of that church. And if the only family you have and know is in the doors of that church, and you know that all somebody has to do is say a word on the podium and you lose it all in an instant, what could be more terrifying than that? Knowing that the people who are your best friends tomorrow will not speak to you, will not associate with you, will not give you a phone call or answer any calls from you. The children that were like your nieces and nephews, they don't know you no more, And if your wife is not steady, she might leave you and get married to somebody else in the congregation. And if your wife is not steady, she might leave you and get married to somebody else in the congregation.
Is not a new tactic. Basically, what you're telling me.
No. I mean, and the thing is, like, with the case of the brother Gakam,
right.
The reason why it happened over the period of time for years for him is because he was dealing with a whole camp. He was over a church. He was over Buffalo. So it wasn't as instantaneous with him. But if you were a brother that didn't have any rank, title, or privilege or position, it could be done overnight. It could happen overnight. And that's something that the brother Jawad knows about. How many times you walked into the congregation, Jawad, and all of a sudden you just realized that it was a stink in the room and nobody was going to talk to you or deal with you and you didn't know why? Yeah, many times.
So,
and there were times when brothers even told you that they wasn't going to talk to you and deal with you because they didn't want to get associated with you.
Wow. So let's go back a second. You said that during class, right? That I wanted you to elaborate that a little more, from like what you were saying, that Nathaniel would take bits and pieces of what he was either told in secret or in council or is privy to, and he would use it in class without saying your name, right? And then really try to paint that picture. So can you elaborate more on that tactic, in some detail?
It's the thing where the scriptures talk about sowing discord is what it's going into. And basically what he would do is, like, I'll give you a perfect example. Dwight was there. We're in this council where we're splitting. So Gad knows that the things are going to point at him. So what he does to take the heat off, he starts telling the story when he's speaking. Before I even spoke, there's a brother here that's going to tell you certain things. And he's going to tell you.
And this is I'm sorry, brother. I don't mean to cut you off. But just so the scenario's painted, is this during like a Sabbath class?
This is during a council. This was a major council.
Okay.
And this after this council was when 12 tribes ended up splitting.
Okay, all right, go ahead. I'm listening.
Falling apart.
Right.
So the first time, right. So it was the first time 12 tribes split apart, and then branches, and then 12 tribes, then and IUIC ended up coming out after the second time it split. However, the first council we were there, he started painting a picture of a brother that was going to give testimony, and it was going to be to his detriment. But you should not really believe everything you hear coming from this brother, because this brother could be using, I forgot the exact words he used, to like pull a wool over your eyes. He was talking about me. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because most of the people knew when I came, I was coming to bear witness that he was sowing discord in the congregation. So he painted a picture of the person that was going to give testimony about him being false. So now, when I stand up to give my testimony, everyone in the church was boo-boo his. I was a liar and a false witness. Because of what he set up before I even spoke. Do you understand?
Absolutely.
That's one instance.
I understand the all too well. How about that?
Okay, all right. All right.
Now, my question is, now, at any time in your experiences, was that tactic used during Sabbath classes, or classes where the church was full?
Oh, hell yes. When he had his eye on someone, this particular brother especially, when someone was doing something, it happened to shock Yah, we know. And classes started going out about him without really mentioning his name.